What's going on, guys? Ted for Immersion here, and this video is going to be... There's not really a huge structure to this. This is just more of a discussion video, something I wanted to talk it out with those of you guys who like the stuff on the channel and play D&D, and it's just kind of an observation that I've come across the more I play with different people. So this is all going to be about generating ability scores. There are, for those of you who don't know or are very not used to the terminology of Dungeons & Dragons, ability scores are basically your character's stats. Strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. So, there are several different ways that one can generate their ability scores, and this is, again, kind of a commentary because every DM I play with kind of rolls with this a little bit different. So I kind of wanted to let you guys know what ways I've seen to generate ability scores, which ways I prefer personally, and I'm also curious if you guys could comment on this video below any other kind of quirks and tweaks that you guys do with ability scores. So, we'll primarily talk 5th edition because that's how, that's what everybody's really playing right now. That's what I'm playing. Most of the stuff on the channel is about 5th edition. So, per the Player's Handbook of 5th edition, there are 3 different ways you can generate your statistics. There is a point buy, a standard array, and rolling with actual dice. I guess I'll start off with the Adventure League and official Dungeons & Dragons Wizards of the Coast sanctioned events, in-store play, things like that. They do not allow rolling of statistics due to the randomness of it. They allow either the standard array or the point buy. Standard array is your character has the following statistics: 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. Those are your 6 statistics, your 6 ability scores, and that doesn't account for things like racial bonuses. So, depending on how things go, you could have a couple of 16s, you could have a 17, things like that, depending on which race you choose as your starting race, which will adjust those ability scores accordingly. Then, point buy is you have 27 points, and basically all of your ability scores will start at 8, and you use those points to add to the ability scores. So what'll happen is each point that you have of your 27 point buy adds up, and it's 1 to 1, so to go from 8 to 9 is 1 point, to go from 9 to 10 is another point, and so on up until you reach, let me see the exact, I should have looked this up beforehand, but I completely forgot. So, here we go. Point buy, it is 1 to 1 up until you reach level, till you hit 13. So, it will cost you 5 points of your 27 point buy to go from 8 to 13. Then to go to 14, it will cost 2, and then to go to 15, it'll cost 2 more. So, the lowest you can have an ability score per this point buy is 8, and the highest is 15. Again, similar to the standard array, although this allows you to tweak your stats a little bit. You could go 8, 8, 8, 15, 15, 15, but you can play around back and forth to get whatever statistics you want. You can obviously hit the standard array if you like, but you can kind of play around if you want to lower one score, or maybe your racial bonuses will allow you to get something different, so you want to lower stats here and there. It also allows ease of multi-classing, since a lot of multi-classing situations require you to have 13 in the given statistic. Point buy will allow you to actually narrow those down. So those are 2 standard ways to do things. Those are what Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons & Dragons officially sanctions. Personally, I don't like them. I like rolling ability scores. I feel like a lot of RP, role player, dungeon masters, game masters, and players also prefer rolling because it makes you feel more connected to your character. You generated these weren't random numbers that you had. You rolled really well and you live by that, or you rolled really bad and you die by that. That's kind of how it goes. So, how do rolling ability scores work in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition? It is 4 6-sided dice. You will roll 4 6-sided dice and drop the lowest. So, a lot of times you hear people reference 46 drop the lowest. That's what it is. You're going to roll 4 6-sided dice and take the highest 3 of those, and that becomes the number. You do this 6 times, and then you arrange the ability scores however you would like and put them wherever you want. So that's how that goes. Those are the standard ways to go about doing this. I personally like to do something a little bit different. So now here's where, those are the base ways to generate ability scores. Now we're going to move on more to the fun kind of different tweaks that I've seen different people do, I've experienced and played with myself. My personal way to go about this is 7, you would roll 4d6, drop the lowest like we just talked about, except you roll them 7 times rather than 6. So 7 and drop the lowest overall number. So I like this. It's not too much more overpowered. I mean, it also gives you the potential to drop a really, really low score. Per 5th edition's rules, there is nothing preventing you from rolling a 3 on your stats by doing 46, drop the lowest, and you be stuck with a 3 statistic. In older editions of D&D, they had a kind of methodology where if you rolled your stats and your stats were X amount, they were so low, there was like some number. If they were all underneath that amount, or you had like no stat above 13, you could scrap them and do it all over again. That was built into the system. That is not a thing in 5th edition. If you are rolling stats and your DM sticks right by the book, 46 drop the lowest and you are stuck with whatever you have. A lot of DMs that I play with and have played with, myself included, have the less than 8 reroll rule. So because the way the standard array and the point buy goes, the minimum score you can have is an 8, which is a -1 to your ability modifier. They say if you roll 7 or below, you can re-roll that whole set of stats. And that's one that I personally play with. So I say 46, drop the lowest, 7 times, drop the overall lowest ability score, and rolls, total statistic ability score rolls that are under 8, you can re-roll those for free. That's how I play. Base game. I have, myself and others that kind of adopted my play style of things, done a... you can roll ability scores twice. If I allow ability score rolling twice, what I typically do is you roll your set of 7, right? And then you drop your lowest. So you have your 6 ability scores. If you don't like that set, then you can scrap it, but you have to take the new set. So it's, you know, you could have some really good ability scores and some not so good on your first set of rolls, but if you want to roll again, you have to nix that entire set and start over, and you kind of, well, too bad. If you wanted to go back and use the other ones, you're out of luck. You got to use the new ones. I have played with DMs that basically adopt that same methodology that I just told you, but they allow you to choose between your first set of rolls and your second set of rolls. That's a little bit more loosey-goosey. That does allow you to get potentially really high stats. I have played where DMs allow, if you roll 3 of a kind on your 4d6, they allow you to add that 4th number in. In 5th edition, DMs that I've played with that allow you to do that cap it at 20, so you can't go above the max ability score level in D&D 5th edition. But in previous editions, your ability scores could go way high. So based on those rolls, I had started a game of D&D 3.5 in the past with a 22 in one of my ability scores because my DM said roll 3d6 and add the if you get 3 of a kind, you add the 4th die in. I've had another DM in 5th edition that had that if you roll 3 of a kind, you add the 4th one in up to 20. But if you roll 4 of a kind, that's an automatic 18. Crazy rules. I think that was a little overpowered, but fine by me. Other things that I've had happen in a more recent game, the DM allowed you 46 drop the lowest as per normal, but one time during your set of rolls, you can choose to replace your one of the d6s with a d8. So you would roll 3d6 and 1d8, and then, you know, take the highest 3 of those. So that was really cool. That was a different way I've never heard of doing it. It's once during your entire set of stat rolls. I had another DM who, once during your set of stats, you can re-roll 1/1 that you have. You can choose to re-roll that and get a new one for that. I've had other DMs bump up the point buy. Standard per 5th edition rules is 27. they decided let's do 29 or let's do 30. I've had other DMs that will let you go above 15 if you want. Continuing with the 2 points per ability score, they will let you go above 15 up to an 18. So you could spend a ton of your points to get one stat at an 18. I've also seen ones that will let you go below 8, so you can go really high and really low depending on how you want to do things. So that is a different way I've heard of doing that. Another way I heard more recently was 20 minus 2d8, so you roll 2d8, and you're trying to get really low numbers because you're taking a total of 20 and subtracting whatever you roll in the 2d8s, and you do that 6 times. I did a little experimentation with that. I tried 24 minus 2d8, so the lowest stat you could have would be an 8, but it's way too powerful. You roll way too high. So I personally, and if you're going to go that route, I like 22 minus 2d8, a little more powerful than 20, but anywhere in that 20 to 22 minus 2d8 is a really cool way to do it. It's just different. It's cool because it's for the first time when you're rolling ability score, you're trying to roll a low number rather than a high number. I just thought that was really cool. But that's pretty much it, guys. It just kind of wanted to put this out there, and I'm curious because, like I said, every Dungeon Master that I've played with, myself included, between different games and stuff, we all have different little quirks and little tweaks of how we like to generate ability scores. So how about you guys go ahead and comment in the description box below. Let me know. How do you guys play when your DM allows you to roll ability scores? Does your DM allow you to roll ability scores at all? Do they think it's too powerful? It does, I will admit, have the potential to make your characters pretty OP at low levels. If you have an 18 at level 1, that's big. 5th edition is very big on this bounded accuracy, where as you level up, the monsters kind of level up with you, so having higher stats ability scores allow you to kind of get a little bit of an edge on monsters early on, which can make balancing issues for a Dungeon Master. Oh, one last one. I had one Dungeon Master say he wanted to make the characters more heroic feeling, more powerful, so he allowed 4d6, drop the lowest 6 times, and allowed you to re-roll any 1s or 2s on your rolls. So the minimum you could ever have in a stat would be 9, assuming you rolled 3 3s. I think that's probably a little OP, but it's not too bad. I would say if you wanted to make your characters more heroic, just make they re-roll 1s, not 1s and 2s. So that way the lowest score they could have potentially would be a 6, but it does allow them to be a little bit more powerful. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know what you think in the description below. I'm curious, is there any other weird ways you guys have come out? I've heard with people experimenting with D4s and rolling those to try to get stats, so I'm just curious. Let me know in the description, and I hope this video was, if not, informative to you guys about the different ways, at least thought-provoking. So, anyway, guys, I'll catch you back here on the coming days with some more interesting D&D videos, some more reviews and whatnot. So, have a great weekend, everyone. I'll see you next time.